Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 8 to 10 days in today's video, which will be taking us into the first week of July to around the 4th of July. We've got signs of unsettled weather coming through. This has been playing out in the models quite a lot over recent days. I did a video about a week ago suggesting that things could be going downhill for the weather as we get through to the end of June and the start of July. That is indeed how things are occurring. We're going to find more unsettled weather coming up over the next 8 to 10 days, most definitely, compared to what we've had so far this summer. It's been a very dry, very warm June. And it's quite a concerning time for the pattern to be breaking down, actually, because after a prolonged spell of dry weather through the first part of the summer, once you get to the middle of summer, once you get a break in the weather, can sometimes be that sort of unsettled spell beds in, and it never really settles down again. That happened in 1992, it happened again to some degree in 2010, where the summer was front-loaded. It was mainly dry and fine and warm through June, but then it broke towards the end of June, start of July, and never really settled. Of course, it's too early to say that's the way this summer is going, but if you want it to settle down, you'll be wanting to see signs of high pressure coming back, certainly by the middle of July, I would suggest. You don't want this sort of unsettled weather that's beginning to develop this week to really bed in. So we'll have a look at the charts anyway in a moment, see what's happening. The next 8 to 10 days will be unsettled, but beyond that, have to wait and see. Before we get on with that, though, just to mention the advertising, this video ads on page, use gas.com. If you could hit play on the video ad and see what it's about, you'll be happy to support gas.com. Thanks so much for doing that. So you're going to start off with the sea surface temperature anomalies, first of all. For the UK, it's very warm around the seas of the United Kingdom just at the moment. Sea surface temperature anomalies are well above average in those orange, almost red colours. So that's temperature anomalies going up to 3-4 degrees above average in the seas around the UK. That's because it's been very warm for a very long time. We've not had a below average month, cold than average month, since November last year. Every month has been coming out above average. This month, June, will be no exception to that. So because that's such a prolonged run of warm weather, the seas around the UK are very warm, and that's important because there's a lot of energy associated or available with those sea surface temperature anomalies to produce heavy showers and big rain events. So with such energy available around the UK, we can expect perhaps heavier rain than would be expected, really, over the next week to 10 days as this unsettled weather begins to come in. A lot of energy is available. Incidentally, we have got the El Nino trying to develop through the equatorial Pacific. There it is. There. It really is struggling again just at the moment, and we've got all this cold water to the south, which is sort of going into the El Nino region, the tropical Pacific, and putting it under pressure. I think the El Nino will eventually come on, but it's a slow-on process. I don't think it's going to be a major El Nino event. It's going to be weak to moderate, I would suggest. Probably have a look at it on Sunday, actually, in some detail. Have a look at what the longer range models are predicting for this El Nino event, but I don't think it's going to be a particularly intense one by any means. But coming back to our weather, let's have a look at the 8 to 10 day 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts. We've got the ECMWF, of course, over on the left of the screen as you're looking at it. The GFS is on the right. These are the 500 millibar flow charts for 8 to 10 days time. So I'd say this is taking us into the first week of July. 500 millibars is an area in the atmosphere where high pressure, low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. The orange colours are extrapolated to high pressure, and the blue colours are extrapolating to low pressure. What's quite interesting is that both models are seeing a trough of low pressure. They differ on how strong this trough is, but both models are seeing a trough of low pressure around the British Isles in the 500 millibar flow. Not that deep on the ECMWF, but really quite deep on the GFS, quite dark blue colours there around the country. So they're both going for this sort of trough of low pressure to be sitting around the country in 8 to 10 days time. They're also both going for some sort of area of high pressure to be sitting to the north. The GFS is stronger with that, but both of the ECMWF and the GFS are showing it. They've got some sort of ridge of high pressure to the north, a trough of low pressure sitting underneath it, as you tend to get in summer, and that's sitting more or less around the British Isles. So both the models are not particularly good. They are indicating an unsettled, relatively cool start to July. Here's the GFS temperature precipitation ensembles. The red line is where the temperature average is at this time of year, the 30-year temperature average. We're going to be around, or probably a little bit below average in terms of the upper air temperatures anyway, for the foreseeable future. There's no sign of anything particularly warm coming up by any means. That is a very unexciting sort of temperature anomaly. The rainfall anomaly is really quite concerning now. We've been upgrading these rainfall spikes over the last few days. It wasn't as bad as this yesterday when I was having a look at this yesterday in the video, but some big rainfall spikes coming through there, starting around the 27th of June. I mean, just going on really as far as the ensemble goes. It finishes eventually around the 9th, 10th of July, but there's no sign of anything particularly settled coming up. Lots of rainfall spikes. That's for Manchester. If you have a look at London to see if London is any better, well, it's not quite as wet, but really these are big rainfall spikes for London down in the far southeast. It does look as though there will be some heavy bouts of rain, or certainly some heavy showers, maybe some prolonged spells of rain coming through at times. Again, there's no suggestion of anything particularly settled going through towards the end of the ensemble, which ends around the 9th or the 10th of July. The temperature anomalies for the next week, the 24th of June to the 2nd of July, show that we're going to be below average. Virtually the whole of Europe is below average in the coming week. But British Isles, yeah, we're seeing anomalies there around 0 to 2 degrees below the average. The precipitation anomaly for the next week is also going to be above average. So cooler than average temperatures, wetter than average rainfall. It's not going to be a particularly good week, I have to say. 24th of June to the 2nd of July, we're in those blue colours there, indicating rainfall coming out above average. So if you look at the generic charts, you'll not be surprised to see they're showing low pressure in control. This is for Monday the 30th of June on the GFS, and low pressure's right over top of the country. Quite a slack low pressure, so we're probably looking at heavy showers more than anything, rather than persistent sort of rain, but those showers could be really quite beefy and slow moving, and those showers will continue into Tuesday as the low pressure hangs around the country on Tuesday the 1st of July. It's still there as we go through to Wednesday the 2nd, and then on to day 10, Friday the 4th of July, shows high pressure sitting to the north around Iceland. Still got low pressure to the south of the country. Actually, that low pressure could be bringing up more heavy rain into southern areas. That is quite a cool unsettled chart for the 4th of July. Going through to the East MWF, there's the low pressure right over top of the country on Monday the 30th of June, so it'll be unsettled end to June. The low pressure is still there. It's a slack, shallow feature, so we're looking at showers probably rather than prolonged bouts of rain, but those showers will be heavy, slow moving and thundery. That's how we go into the 1st of July. Going on into the 2nd of July, the low pressure is still dominating. And then let's go through to the 4th of July. Maybe just a suggestion, but we're trying to ridge in the Azores high there from the Atlantic. But the general flow off the Atlantic is still westerly, actually. And I would suspect another area of low pressure will be coming through in that flow fairly quickly. I don't think that is particularly settling down. I mean, just have a quick look at the GM, the Canadian model. That is very, very bad, but it's probably over the top. Here we go into the 1st of July, a week away, with low pressure around the country. But look what it does as we get through towards the 3rd and the 4th. It develops this big area of low pressure into a Atlantic storm system by the 4th of July. Hard to see what the central pressure is on that, but I think it's down somewhere probably around 985 millibars. Very, very unusually deep area of low pressure this time of year, just off the coast of Ireland. That would be bringing severe gales and heavy bouts of rain across the country if that came off. A lot of northern blog to the north here. I think it's over the top. I don't think things will get as bad as that, hopefully. But it does look as though we're in for an unsettled spell over the next week to 10 days. The charts are all sort of indicating or implying that we're going to be seeing at least showers, probably longer spells of rain at times as well. Some of the showers could be quite heavy and beefy because we've got a lot of energy available with such warm seas around the country. So the showers that do form, there's a lot of energy available for them. And I think we're looking at a pretty unsettled phase as we go to the end of June into the start of July. And as I say, we're going to have to wait and see how long this is going on for. The start of July tends to be an unsettled phase at the best of times, so it's perhaps not too concerning. But on the other hand, we've had a prolonged run of dry weather through much of June, and to see it breaking at this point, as I say, it can sometimes be that this unsettled weather will bed in and go on for quite a long while through the middle of that stages of the summer. I'll probably have a look at some other years where that happened. As I say, 1992 was one year where we had a fine June. It broke towards the end of June, start of July, it never really settled again. 2010 was another year. So it does happen that you get these front-loaded summers. But I think it's too early to say that's how things are panning out. Wouldn't necessarily say that's the way things are going. We're going to have to wait and see. But certainly the next week, 10 days, will be unsettled. So that's it. Going to have to put up with it. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.